Do you want to talk about the accident or not at all?
Yeah, of course.
Do you want to talk about it?
Because that's something else that I think I've not to say that I've hidden it from people, but when people ask, because people ask a lot, I'll say, oh, it's not a good story. It's not a good story, but I make it out to be, it's not that. That relationship was extremely toxic, but I was the one who kicked the window, and that's not on, that's on me. And it's really interesting too, because I think one of the things that made me less ashamed of it, I don't know why I keep using that word ashamed, but I was reading the DSM-5 TR for borderline personality disorder, and towards the end, it says that people with borderline personality disorder, I didn't say often, but will have physical injuries that are self-imposed. And I think it even said disabilities. And I was like, ooh, I'm not the only one. I'm maybe not to the extreme that I took it, but I do take things to the extreme. So he had just finished his fellowship. And so I was there with him, and we were supposed to go back to New York the next day or something. And then this is so embarrassing, but I've leveled up, so I don't do this anymore. I had looked at his phone, and the birds here are really nice. I know you're probably worried about.
Shut up. Where is it? It's right there. That's. Hold on.
Is it a mockingbird? Is that what it is?
Is it a mockingbird? There it is. Is it still there? Oh,
mockingbird.
Boy, that was really
it wasn't.
right. All right. So, okay, back to.
Right. So he had. I had gone through his phone, which I would hope that I wouldn't do that anymore, but who knows? I hope not, though. And he had been talking to the girl before me, and I got jealous, and I drank too much, and I was aggressive and violent, and I started breaking things, and so he broke up with me. And then I kicked the window, and
Can you say what? So you kicked through the glass?
I kicked through a glass window, right?
It's
Pretty
intense
bad. It was
because
bad.
you almost lost your foot. You could have lost your foot.
I passed out from the blood loss. There was one point, and I passed out when I hit the glass, and then I came to, and I pulled my leg up, and it was just flesh. Like just from here down, it was just flesh. And I remember vividly passing out because there were like lights. And then I said to myself, because you know how people are like, oh, I see lights when I'm dying. I was like, this is clearly just a lack of oxygen in my head. And then I passed out again. And then a whole bunch of people came, and they took me to the hospital. They put me under before I was even going into the surgery thing. I don't know why. And then I woke up, obviously, and then they weren't sure if they were going to have to cut my foot off because there had been 2 arteries that were cut. The nerves were cut. They had tried to heal one of the, I don't know how they do it, but, put it together. And they succeeded in doing that, but the other artery was cut, and so I don't have that one anymore. And then the nerves are cut, so I don't have those anymore. Because I can't feel anything, so I cut myself all the time, and I don't know. So, I cut myself right there. You can see. I didn't, not on purpose, but when I was shaving. And then it got infected, and it had this terrible smell, and I didn't know what was going on. And then my leg hollowed out, literally hollow. And then this was going on for a while, and weeks. And then I said, I need to go to the emergency room. This just isn't, you could see inside my leg. You could put fingers in there and not touch flesh. And then there was the tendon, and you could see the tendon stretch. I have photos of it. And so I went to the emergency room, and I can't even imagine what they were thinking, because it was just so necrotic. And they pretty much immediately had me do a surgery. And then I was in the hospital for 2 weeks, and because they just had to keep gutting out you can see, they had to gut it. And then.
So you had multiple surgeries.
Right. But they weren't immediate. There was the one that happened when it happened, right? Then there were the 2 to gut my leg out. And then there were, so the thing with, even though I was vicious to him, but he was toxic as well. It was very abusive, and not to say that I deserved it, because I don't think I deserved it, but it was very very abusive. I mean, I would say awful things to him, and then he would lose his temper, and oh, Jesus, it was bad. It was so bad. And I'm friends with him now, and I know that's stupid, but I have this, because, you know, when you're trying to leave someone that's abusive, you, like, well, not you, but I would continue to go back to them, right? And I had written down all of the terrible, terrible things that had happened, or that he'd said to me, or that he'd done, all of them. And I had written it all down so that I could go back to it and I still have the list. And I remember, and I won't look at it because I'm friends with him now. And I remember it had been like years, and I looked at that list and I started crying because I couldn't believe what I put myself through. I asked my therapist about this, you know, after Jack. I was like, why am I dating these people that are so, I'm toxic too, okay? This is not a one-sided toxicity thing. I'm toxic too. But I didn't understand, especially after my dad died. It was like I was dating really good guys, and then my dad died. Then after that, it just went downhill really quickly to where there were very few redeemable qualities about the people that I was dating. And she said it's because I don't value myself, and I don't feel like I'm a great person. So I'm finding relationships that validate that. And I think, I mean, that really rang true to me. So there was one time I was in the bathroom. This is when I was in Houston. I was in the bathroom, and I don't remember what happened, but I had grabbed the shaving cream. This was like, he was like not coming after me, but it was about to get violent. So I grabbed the shaving cream, not to like attack him or anything, but not to defend myself. I don't know. And so I went out he went away, and then I went out on the balcony and I called and I was just crying. And so it was abusive. I mean, so she got me a hotel for 2 weeks, and then I stayed at that hotel. But then I had come over to the hotel. So it didn't work out like this, you know, she's trying to rescue me from this abusive relationship, and then I bring him back in. There were police that came several times, and there was a lady that came, and she told me the second time that she came, she said she had come deliberately to see me the second time, and it was because she knew that it wasn't going to get any better. And she said, do you have anybody in Texas? And of course, my mom lives there, but that doesn't count. Not in Houston, but in Dallas. And I said, no. And she said, you need to leave. This isn't going to get. So anyway.
And because you were in and out of work at this point, yes?
Yeah, I know. I couldn't work because of the.
So
yeah.
Who was supporting you? Like your friends were supporting you financially at that point?
He had been supporting me when I was at his place, right? And then got the hotel for me. And then, but yeah, I didn't have anything. And no, I couldn't work because I was genuinely as disabled as you can get. So that's one thing I remember, like he would fuck with me when I couldn't do anything, right? I couldn't go anywhere. I couldn't run away. I couldn't do anything. He pushed me down at one point and he choked me, and I was disabled. Anyway, whatever. But I was mean. I was so mean to him. Anyway, so that happened. And had said, well, you can stay in she had an office.
It sounds like that was like something when he did that, maybe that was what allowed you to get away, was the
I knew I needed to get away. And then the woman police officer had said that this isn't going to get any better. And she said she had gone through something like that as well. And so, I mean, I'll never forget that conversation I had with her. She had to take me out of the apartment to the bottom floor. And she was just a really kind woman, and she counseled me. And I don't know if people don't think that about police officers, but she was, I mean, that really had an impact on me.
Do you have a sense of why, like what was keeping you there? Like, okay, I get the validating you.
Yeah, well, I loved him. It was, and then I was disabled, and I felt,
it's hard to leave.
Yeah, and where else was I going to go? And he had, not to say he had brainwashed me, but your friends want you to die. Things like that. It takes a lot for a mother to leave her child. Those are the things he was saying to me. Just stuff like that. Once I said, because he could have lost his job if I had made it. I mean, I don't want him to get in any trouble, so you're gonna have to bleep out his name and stuff. I was like, you would lose your job if people found out what you're doing to me. And he said, who do you think they're gonna believe, a psych patient or a doctor?